Hi, and welcome back to Virtual Advantage. I'm Joyce Laiosa, and this is our last program in Virtual Advantage on the last two early literacy skills, writing and playing. Writing fits in so well with reading. Just like reading, writing teaches children that print has meaning. Letters represent sounds, and written words represent the oral word they use every day. Writing is a key school readiness skill in itself, and it supports other early literacy skills. So when you're thinking about writing, it's not that you want to teach children to write everything they need to know before they start school. That's not going to happen. But what we need to work on is their motor skills. Gross motor skills are needed for children to be able to learn to sit comfortably in their own bodies so that they can put their arm up and get it ready to write, left or right. And how do we help with that is by certainly action rhymes, in a regular story time at the library using the parachute, and marching, which we have done in our lessons now so that you understand marching is important and getting the kids up and moving is important even in a virtual story time. All are necessary as children begin to practice their small motor skills, which are even more important. It is not an easy task for children to learn to use their small motor skills in their hands. It takes time and a lot of effort by both the parents and caregivers and us to convey to them the importance. So when they start out with the itsy bitsy spider, I've seen many children kind of like look at me like, what are they supposed to do with their hands? They cannot do this simple motion. It's not simple for them. It's a learned movement. And your fingers become more flexible. So we need to use those and many the itsy bitsy and other finger plays that really work well for them to be moving their hands, moving their fingers, not just the big movements, which are excellent and they need those, but also some fine motor movements. One of the other ones besides itsy bitsy that's really good for this, and you cannot do it on a virtual story time, but you can tell parents and caregivers all about it, and you can demonstrate it by blowing bubbles. Taking the bubble wand and blowing the bubbles just a little bit to remind parents that this is something very simple, but it's excellent for kids to try and catch them. It's really a great skill, and it's something that only takes a few minutes. So that's something I would encourage you to talk about almost every other time you have a story time, because that is so simple for parents to do and also delightful, especially in warmer weather. Spring, summer, autumn, you can be outside to do that and play with bubbles. Feels natural for us as adults, but not to children. They need to learn to write their name. But before they really can write their name, they need to understand that the marks they make on a paper when they say their name is Susie or Tom, those marks are going to turn into the real letters, and we want them to write anything that they think is their name. So they have to practice that. You can't see that in a virtual story time, but it's something to remind parents that if Susie or Tommy makes a drawing, please have them write their name on it. And next to their scratch, their marks, you write their name in the correct letters. Another fun thing to do, and you can do this on a virtual story time, is to do a letter hunt. So you might have a bag full of things or something in your lap, and then you can pull them out and say, I have a, and then you wait and then say ball. Of course, this one, yes, this one looks good. I have, do you know who this is? You wait, and then you would say, did you say Big Bird? Which I assume they all would. I have a, oh yes, what could this be? And then wait, and then it's a bat. Did you all say bat? Oh, you're so smart. I have a brush. I have a bunny. Okay, you can tell that what I have in here is a lot of B things, including the letter B. And in your virtual story time, this will take a lot of time, but it's well worth it because you've gone over all the things that start with the letter B in however you want to do it. But it's a great writing exercise because we're talking about the letter B to write it, and then they can practice writing the letter B in the air with a finger. They can practice b, b, b. They can say the words bunny, bat, big bird, ball. All of that is really helpful. And it certainly is great modeling for the parents. So think about having a letter hunt for certainly not every letter of the alphabet but for many, you'll have things around the house, or you can get a few things that will fit in just, 5 to 6 items. If you talk to parents about magnetic letters, I don't know if any of you have noticed this, but the very newest refrigerators do not let magnets stick to their fronts. So you might have magnet letters on a cookie sheet and mention that this is a great thing for kids to play with while you're all in the kitchen together. Encourage parents at all times to get their children to draw and write. When you tell a felt board story, you might say, have your children retell it where they draw the picture, and then you can write the story after them, or they can tell you what they did and you write exactly what they say. Play-Doh is great for those small motor skills. Play-Doh is great for all of the squeezing, rolling, shaping. This works with their hands, works with their small motor skills. You can certainly put up a homemade recipe on your own library's website, or people can buy, if they love Play-Doh, certainly can have it. Making little books together. So if they're retelling a story, tell their parent after they've made the book, or after they've done their pictures, you could have it in a sequential order, maybe staple it together or sew it together and save that as their little book for them to tell about. And always have paper and markers handy for children to write and draw with, even if it's only straight and curvy lines. And little toddlers don't even know how hard to press. That practicing, making them, even when they hold the pencil or the pen like this, it's okay. So any way they hold it will be fine. Another one to do with the pencil and the markers and the papers and the color crayons is to put on music and have the children fill a piece of paper with color and lines and whatever they want while they're listening. Different music will maybe bring out a different artist in them. So have a try at that. I used to love to put on the classical music for the kids, the kind that they would dance around with too, which is great for them to do. And always movements, which again, I'm only reiterating what you've all done with the movements. Up and down, back and forth, across the body, movement. It's great. That's writing. And now to playing. It would seem so simple. Let the child play. Well, it is simple, but maybe in the 21st century we've made it a little more difficult. Think back to Fred Rogers again, where he said, play is serious learning. And that really is true, even though it doesn't sound like that. Children are supposed to play, and as they play, they learn. They learn a lot. Another famous educator was Maria Montessori, and she said, play is children's work. It's really important to promote play when you are doing virtual story times and when you're encouraging parents, whether it's pulling out the crayons for writing and playing, or mentioning the bubbles, or encouraging time with puppets and dramatic play. Oh, everybody should have a favorite puppet, and so could children. Now, this one, of course, was one of my favorite puppets, and I do tell a story with this. It's a little mouse. Look at his little cute little tail. He's got quite a little face. Having a puppet in the house is a lot of fun. Having puppets in story time, by the way, is even more fun. And I've got this rather large frog, which actually is too big for really little children. Yes, you hear my frog? Yes. but he's fun because he ribbits you. But encourage parents to have puppets, even finger puppets for their kids to play with. Costumes. I'm not really talking Halloween costumes. I'm talking big shirts. I'm talking funny hats. I'm talking wings. You can be a princess. You can be a fairy. How about capes? Not capes that they're going to drag all over the floor, but capes. Really short, sweet little capes. They can be anything from Red Riding Hood to a superhero. Having a box of puppets or costumes hanging around, you don't pull them out every day. Pull them out on a rainy day or a fun day. This is what you are encouraging parents to do. They should have regular toys, obviously, whether it's cars, baby dolls, balls, books, all things, shapes to sort. And remind parents that children love to build with books, not just blocks. Having board books around in the toy area is very important. So you might want to remind them to always have a bunch of board books. And that's one of the things also that I want to say is having books in every room is very good, because when children are young and small, they're constantly moving, but they might be drawn to looking at the books, playing with the books. Doesn't matter if they're eating them or making a tunnel that a car goes through when they stand it up like this. It's all good. Babies love to move and rock to music, and certainly it's wonderful for a parent to have music on and to be dancing with your baby. It's also great to have music on and let your children play, running around the house or running around a room while the music goes. Find some really great classical songs, or even like some John Williams soundtracks. Something that's maybe classical or not, but it doesn't have words, so that children are imagining what they're hearing. I don't know if many of you remember a Rimsky-Korsakov piece called Night on Bald Mountain. It can be quite scary. In the movie Fantasia, it had dinosaurs in it. Well, put that on, give the child a cape, and watch them take off. The Hall of the Mountain King by Edvard Grieg from the Peer Gynt suite is fantastic for seeing something, whatever's in the child's imagination. It just builds. That is what some music can do. And John Williams, think about his music from Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, kids could have so much fun with listening to the music and imagining all kinds of things. Pretend play actually helps with problem solving later on when they learn things like that, because they pretend what the outcome's going to be. It benefits reading as books become longer and more complex as the child gets older. And of course, you really need to encourage outdoor play with activities, special activities, even going to a park, and explorations, taking a walk. What do we see? What do our eyes spy? And it's not a bad thing to have children practice balance and coordination, throwing and catching a ball, or kicking the ball, or walking on a line. You can just put a piece of string or rope out and see how well they do just walking on it on the grass, how well they step up. There's so many things that are out there to play with and to enjoy. It's unlimited. And that's really what, with our virtual advantage, all you can do is encourage. So if something leads to encouraging them to tell parents to let the kids play with magnetic letters, or let them play with Play-Doh, or take out the crayons or the paint, or blow bubbles in the bathtub, just remember to try and add those tips in wherever you can. We are sitting in front of an audience, and that audience is learning from us, and we're modeling and encouraging. And I hope having fun while we're doing it, putting together a story time that encourages child development and makes a child happy and whole to go on with their life. Sounds kind of big and important, and guess what? It is. But we want to encourage more than just us having fun. We want to encourage those parents and those caregivers to work with the children, having fun too. It just becomes a part of life. That is our virtual advantage. I'm Joyce Laiosa, and I hope that this has helped you. Thank you very much, and good luck.